There are many entrances to the Texas Capitol, but it's the south steps that are seen as the building's front door. It provides a majestic view of Austin's Congress Avenue, and it's frequently used as a stage for political events, just as it was for a recent rally by the Texas Nationalist Movement.
Right up, and the federal government's going to roll everything back 233 years, as this petition says. We get all of our unalienable rights and we put them back in that box we call the Constitution, our contract with government. If they refuse, if they do not comply with this request.
That's Jerry Donaldson, an activist for Texas independence, delivering a speech about the need for Texas to get sovereignty or secede from the Union. On the ground next to him and on the south steps, the word secede is spelled out in giant letters. The secession movement is growing, partly due to opposition of some of President Barack Obama's policies, and one issue in particular, national medical insurance reform.
She goes, oh my God, she says, these nursing homes are going to become euthanasia centers. They've already got a rule in that Obamacare bill that says that they're going to be able to euthanize, basically, or deny care to the elderly, the poor, and the mentally retarded. Well, that's what it says. I'm sorry.
As Donaldson spoke out about his views on health care reform, a passerby, Ed Malling, shouted back, "That's a lie."
If they're putting people to death, lie. Well, you're making crap up.
I'm not making anything.
Okay, so whoever is spewing this garbage is making stuff up.
Well, I'm not gonna speak to whatever they say.
Malling was quickly surrounded by rally attendees. One of them was Daniel Miller, the president of the Texas Nationalist Movement.
That's treason, man.
No, it's actually not treason. I have to tell you, I take particular offense at that because...
Then DPS troopers asked Malling to leave the rally, which he did. The Texas secession gathering continued without further interruptions. Malling said he came to the state capitol to attend a different political event, also on the South Capitol steps, but not set to begin until that afternoon. It's a pro-healthcare rally organized by MoveOn.org. When the pro-healthcare rally was supposed to start, the two political sides squared off and just began shouting slogans and waving signs at each other. The DPS troopers were forced to form a human wall to separate the two sides, and there was at least one scuffle between protesters, but no arrest.
What do we want? Healthcare! When do we want it? Now!
Off to the side of the incomprehensible shouting, there was Tim Austin of Round Rock. Wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a smile, he was doing his part to show his opposition to health care reform.
Socialists singing about freedom? That's ridiculous. Obama wants to take over the internet. The guy wants emergency powers to control the internet.
Where do you hear that?
Austin carried a sign that called President Obama a socialist. And rather than yelling into the crowd, he spoke directly to individual pro-health care supporters and ridiculed them.
Your money or your life? Oh, yes, your money.
As long as you can pick your own doctor,
you don't work anymore?
your own hospital.
It didn't have to be about health care. He picked on people with personal attacks just to get under their skin.
Hold answers for Obamacare. Let's have your customers get off.
Well, part of it takes them off their message, which is one tactic, and the other part is to get the word out that socialism is wrong, and I'm here to oppose it and here to fight it with all means available.
Jim Rigby, an Austin minister, was part of the pro-healthcare crowd. He was urging his fellow reformers not to take the bait and be pulled into an ugly fight.
I hope nobody responds to it, but they're coming and taunting and getting in people's face, calling them names, trying to get them to respond. So as long as we don't respond, then we're fine. We stay, it's the old eyes on the prize thing. Well, it's a little unpleasant. I mean, it's that idea that you can, they fight for liberty by shouting other people down and violating their right of free speech, I don't understand, but that's
Well, then we done business in Mexico, man.
Another anti-healthcare protester joined Austin in the personal verbal assaults. He carried a giant picture of President Obama, photoshopped with the Joker makeup, and he was making fun of one pro-healthcare supporter because he was born in Argentina and spoke with an accent.
Medicaid, and I didn't want VA, and I didn't want the NIH, and I didn't want you working at the University of Texas. Why don't you go back to Argentina? Because Argentina's a great place for liberals like you. God, they just love them.
Really?
Yeah.
You have no opinion, Argentina.
He said these personal attacks are a tactic learned from the 1972 book, Rules for Radicals, written by community organizer Saul Alinsky.
It's all about who's the biggest crowd, who makes the most noise, who shouts, who gets on TV. I was at the Randall's Doggett affair. Do you know that affair? Okay, I was there, and I was among the shouters. And do you know what? That got on national TV. That got on international TV. You can Google that, and you can get thousands and thousands of hits. Now, if I sit here and I talk to this nice lady all day, and I just give her my most charming, intellectual, professional discussion of the facts, do you think I'll get her, A, to change her mind? No. Or B, will that appear on television? No.
Sanford Horwitz wrote a biography on Alinsky titled Let Them Call Me Rebel. He says there's been an explosion of interest from the right concerning the radical organizer.
The right wing has adopted Rules for Radicals as its tactical Bible. And this has happened since Obama was sworn into office.
However, Horwitz said Alinsky would shudder if he could see how his book is being used today by anti-healthcare protesters, not because they're working to block a liberal movement, but because their methods are actually counterproductive.
The meanness, the nastiness that is bound to turn off a lot of people watching this debate is just something an organizer would never do. You just so restrict the possibilities of expanding your base that you simply engage in self-defeating tactics.
The reform blockers aren't the only activists that are using rough-and-tumble tactics to express their views, but Horwitz said the level of orchestration and intensity from the reform opponents is overwhelming, and lost in the cacophony is a public examination of the merits of the issues. As the Move On rally concluded, both sides moved from the South Capitol steps to a nearby Methodist church where a town hall meeting was going to be held with Congressman Lloyd Doggett. And as the participants queued up to enter the church, there was Tim Austin working the pro-reform crowd.
Are you going to have Medicare?
I work for a living. I'm taking care of
a yes or no answer.
I'm taking care of my own retirement. I don't touch Democrats. I don't touch liberals. I don't touch commies. You guys are filthy. Yeah.
One woman told Austin, "You're not being very nice." Austin's answer, "Ma'am, I'm not trying to be nice. I'm trying to win." In Austin, David Martin Davies, Texas Public Radio News.